Hi, my name is Jeff Trapp. I'm the Associate Director, Recruitment and Admissions at Rotman Commerce. I'm part of the team that helps make decisions on admissions for applicants to Rotman Commerce. We're here today at Columbia International College to talk about the supplemental applications. I'm here with my colleagues from engineering and the University of Toronto Scarborough. Well, what we're looking for in Rotman Commerce are students that have an understanding of leadership, community, ability to convey that information to an admissions committee, and have a passion for business. So what we say with their supplemental application, what they really need to do is just be themselves. Thank you for coming. My name is Jeff Trapp. I'm the Associate Director of Recruitment and Admissions at Rotman Commerce. Quick show of hands, how many are Rotman Commerce applicants? Oh, I expected more. So just very quickly, the idea today is speak mostly about the supplemental application and answer any questions that you have about it. Just very briefly, in terms of the program, some key points for you to perhaps think about when you're choosing university is the three key points that we talk about with our program. One is the location, being downtown Toronto, we think is very advantageous. You have very close proximity to the business community. You are able to also tap into the alumni connections, so being downtown Toronto is great. The breadth of the program, you're part of what's called the Faculty of Arts and Science, so you're able to complement your business education with something else from the Faculty of Arts and Science. There's over 300 programs, over 2,000 other courses, over 50 different languages that you can do in addition to your business education. And the third thing is our faculty. We are part of also the Rotman School of Management. This is the graduate program where the MBAs, the PhDs, the Masters of Finance students, that's where they study, and we share faculty with them. They're ranked top 10 in the world for research output, so you're getting access to new business knowledge as it's being created. It's a top 10 school in the world to do finance at as well. So those three things we think are important for you to know. We think they're really great sellers for our program, and if you think they're helpful for you to make a fit, then that's great. Now, how we make our decisions, we work in conjunction, which is what's called enrollment services, and we look at the grades, and we look at what's called a supplemental application. To be competitive for the grades, we would be considering a mid to high 80s average, with calculus and vectors also mid to high 80s, and English low to mid 80s, or if you're using an English facility test, you don't have to present English. So we don't weight the grades with the supplemental application. We tell students that they need to have both good grades and a great supplemental. So what we're looking for in the supplemental application is an understanding of leadership, community, and the ability to convey that to an admissions committee, and a passion for business. This can really help you if your grades are a little bit below our cutoffs. We'll have a second look at you if it's something that we have identified through the supplemental that is really outstanding. We might take a closer look at you if your grades don't quite hit where we're looking at for the what we call the cutoffs. We don't know what the cutoffs are until we get all the applications. We're able to look at those grades. So I want to give you some screenshots in terms of what you're going to see when you do the supplemental application. So what happens is after you apply to the OUAC, your application will be recognized or acknowledged by enrollment services, and at that point you'll have access to what's called Join U of T. This is a portal that you can look at your application with. Through that, you'll have access to what's called the supplemental application. You'll click through on a hyperlink, and you'll ultimately come to a pay site. You'll pay a $50 fee that we charge for processing and assessing the supplemental application, and you'll automatically get an email when we process those payments. The payments are processed 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you should find out very soon your access to what's called Like Live. This is the service provider that we use for the supplemental application. You'll get an automatic email generated that will give you access to the site, and you'll have to register and with LikeLive. And this is the first page that you go to with the service provider with LikeLive. This is what it will look like. When you submit this, you'll get also a confirmation email automatically. After you are registered, you'll go to the shoot and upload videos section for information. Now, clicking through here is not going to have you use up a chance to do your supplemental. You can have a look at it. The form that the supplemental takes is 2 essays. They're very brief. One is mandatory and one is optional. So you only have to do the mandatory one, and that question changes periodically. Changes as often as I want to change it. How you should be looking at that is when you're ready to do it, you should sit down and do it. Because those questions change, you don't want to look at the question, go away and work on your essay for a couple days, because when you come back, the question could change. So when you're ready to make your submission, that's when you do it. It's very brief, so it doesn't take very much time. It's only about 250, 300 words or 2,000 characters. So you can write that quite quickly. So for both of those sections, it's the same thing. The second optional question, what we're looking for really is anything else you want to add about yourself that might be interesting for us that's not included in the question. For example, if you're a great athlete or a great musician, or if you had a really interesting part-time job, or if your background you think is really interesting in terms of where you're coming from. So those extra pieces that the assessors might want to be interested in that make you a really interesting person. After you submit the essay question, either the mandatory one or the mandatory and the optional one, that's when you go to the video. And the video is really, you have 3 static questions. Those questions don't change, and you choose one of them. You only answer one of the video questions. You'll get information on the technical aspects, the IT, sort of what's needed in terms of programming to do those submissions. That supplemental, the video part, you have 1 hour to record and upload. That's more than enough time to be able to do it. You can make multiple copies of your response if you want and just decide to upload the one that you want. The 1 hour limit, it's only a 2-minute video. So that is more than ample opportunity to do a really good job. The reason we have an hour is because we get a lot of applications from countries with firewall issues, and so sometimes that upload can take a little bit longer. So applying from Canada, no problem, an hour. You actually do have 3 opportunities. If for some reason you have some IT problems, the LikeLive will give you a second opportunity to actually do the upload. Now, if upload fails twice, I suggest contacting LikeLive directly, the service provider. We don't have access to the back end, LikeLive does, so that's who you have to contact if you're having problems with your supplemental in terms of an IT problem. After you successfully submit your video, you will get an email saying first it's encoding, and then that it's uploaded. And you can even go back after and look and see what it looks like. And that's what it's going to be. You see Jeff Trapp as the applicant there. He actually was refused admission. That's me. I guess you can't really make out the picture, but that's a dummy one that I did. So you would go back and look, and you would see your status is ready. In the middle there, so you can tell that it was successfully uploaded. Now, also on your Join U of T, eventually it takes sometimes up to 2 weeks in terms of 2 weeks working days, so Monday to Friday, to actually get it updated on your Join U of T status. Hopefully less, but in that. So you can also look there and see. And I'll just very quickly show you what we see as assessors. So there's me again. So that's what it would, that's what we look at. That's not what you look at when we make the assessment. I couldn't fit the whole picture in, but if you scroll down on the screen, I would also see the responses to your essay questions. So that's really from start to finish in terms of what the process is for us. In terms of time, I have some time for a few questions. Is anybody not sure about what they have to do yet on the supplemental? The question is, we don't have time to prepare. There's time built into the process. So for example, with the essay, once you enter, you'll see the question, you should do it then. And the reason that you should do it then, you'll have time to do it. There's not a time limit, but you don't want to go away for a couple days, respond to the question, come back and have me change the question. So when you're ready, there's more of a time limit in terms of the video part, where you really have an hour to record and upload a two-minute response. The question was, after we submit the essay, can we wait to do the video? You can, but we do not recommend that you do that because we could change the essay question. So if the submission's not final until we get the video. So if you choose to wait between your essay and your video, I could change the question on the essay and you'd have to go back and do it again. Okay. The question was, how often do we change the question? I guess the cheeky answer is it's a secret. We don't tell you for a reason so that you're not trying to game the system. Okay. And it's as often as I want to change it.